good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live, day number 2 of the tournament. I, of course, am the coach. This is your daily sports betting brand of record. We call it the Early Edge. We are powered, as always, by SportsLine. And if your bracket wasn't busted after last night, well, it may be busted after this afternoon. Really no big upsets to speak of, except Miami. As far as seeding is concerned, Miami over USC, 68-66. A questionable foul call that we'll talk about. And then just moments ago, Notre Dame knocks off Alabama. So after playing in the play-in game on Wednesday, they win another game after triple overtime, 78-64. Keep your eyes on the 11 seed, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Other than that, it was a chalk day. But let's bring in the stars of the show because we got a lot to talk about tonight. There's 8 more games on tap, the final 8 of the first round. So you know who I'm going to bring in, our college basketball expert, the machine, Jay Smooth. What's good, man?
Oh, just watching Texas close this one out for us here. That was a great game. But just like some other conference tournament winners, we watched Virginia Tech stumble. We watched Iowa stumble. It's an interesting trend this year.
Yeah, it really is. Especially Virginia Tech really surprised me after blowing out North Carolina, who won big already in the tournament, blowing out Duke, who still has to play tonight. They're a 2 seed. And then they lay an egg like this, 64-50, under 5 to play. It doesn't make any sense. But so far, AB, the tournament hasn't made any sense. Chalk not only is winning almost every single game, but they're also covering these big numbers.
Yeah, they are. They're covering a ton of them, right? Like we saw yesterday, the first 4 games, those were all favorites. Yesterday, a ton of favorites. Today starts, 7 favorites, somewhere around there, right? It's just nuts. And think about this. On the afternoon live show, to end it, we spoke about how the early games, the margin of victory were double digits. What happened today? Exact same thing.
That's
double digit, right? Last night, the game's pretty tight. Other than Kansas, it was pretty tight. I'm interested to see if that plays out again for us.
And it's funny because, usually the unders come in. I saw somebody on social media today. If you just blindly bet every under, you'd be way up right now. Except the couple that we actually bet, we lose. That keeps you from playing every single under. Right now, we have Texas and Virginia Tech. The under is like 125. They're already at 117 with 4 minutes to play. That's going to go into the 130s. That's going to be a loss today. So I'm done. I know we joke a lot. I'm done with unders. I'm done with unders. I'm done with unders. I'm done with freaking unders. All right, the first game of tonight, because we got to get to our board. We're going to do our best bets. We're going to recap what happened earlier today so people have a little education leading into the second round of these teams on a Sunday. And then also we'll look forward to every single game tonight and break down those as well. So we got a lot to get to over the course of the next hour. So Jay Smooth, you got several more picks tonight. Start us off.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we're closing up a little 3-3 early window. Not the best, not the worst. We'll take it though. But we're going to get into this late slate. We got 8 more games coming. We're only halfway through the night. I mean, I love that about March Madness. But let's get to it. We're going to start with this Chattanooga team against Illinois. I like the +8. I think you might be able to find 8.5. Again, take whatever you can. Always shop around during March Madness. Every point counts. But this Chattanooga team can make shots in the mid-range, which is what I think is going to help them get this done. They do not turn the ball over much. They play a clean offense. They get effective looks, and they're going to be good at defending the 3-ball. So look for Illinois to only be really getting 2s, and that's going to allow Chattanooga to stick around a little bit more. They are a pretty effective team. I do like them to keep this within 8. We have seen the dogs come out a little bit more in these late games. I'm not really sure if there's anything to it, but we'll see if the trend continues. As AB said, the favorites have been crushing. Speaking of favorites crushing, we're going to go with Duke. We're going to take the 18.5. Cal State, Fullerton, coming out of that Big West. I'm just not really sure they're the right type of team that's going to take Duke on. I think they're a true 15 seed. We've seen some of these true low seeds. What happens with them? They get blown out. A couple of these 15s and 16s put up a decent fight, but this looks like it's probably going to be a bigger one. I like 24-25 in that matchup for Coach K. Coming out, making a statement first round. I think that's what goes on. And then I'm in, someone saw asking if this is a UCLA jersey. This is a throwback West Virginia jersey because this is a Jerry West jersey. We're throwing it back because I think the Big 12 is here to make some noise. We are seeing it already. 2 of my picks are on Big 12s getting points. We're going to I don't know where the TCU pick is. That should be somewhere around here, but we're going to take Iowa State +4. And I'm also going to be taking TCU because I really do like this big 12 vibe. They are just playing really well. We're seeing how good Texas looks. Again, this was a 1.5-point line. So I think the books are getting it wrong on the Big 12. So we're taking them right now. UAB, this is just a hot shooting team. The Blazers going to come out, I think, get it done. They're going to maybe surprise a few people playing this Houston team that can go cold. You know, Coach, we've had a lot of battles about this team. We've seen them go up and down, up and down. Well, I think it's time for a down game for the Cougars. They're going to win, but I don't know if 8.5 is going to be enough to contain this Blazers offense, which does get them into the top 50 of teams in the nation. Don't sleep on them. That is a really, really loaded South region. Colgate, this is just a story of what we've seen in the conferences so far, with that you have maybe this one excellent team amongst the junk, right? We saw like Murray State, we saw Vermont actually show up and compete, even though they come from these trash conferences. This premium team that like always comes out, they have this tournament experience, which Colgate does. I think 7.5 is probably smaller than what people expected against a team like Wisconsin, but Wisconsin lets people hang around. So I think they're going to let Colgate hang around, and that's why we're taking the points there. And then, Seton Hall +1. I think that's the wrong line. That was probably my bad, AB. We're definitely fading Seton Hall. I don't know why I would put Seton Hall up there. TCU is definitely on the site. That's on me. I don't like TCU.
Hey, when you're putting 20 picks in a day, sometimes you're going to have – but AB, at least he didn't bury you live on the air. At least he didn't do that.
Yeah.
At least he did.
Yeah. But yeah.
And I guess
TCU, so just make sure.
We technically work for CBS, right? So I just want to say, full disclosure, Jay Smooth is on an island by himself. I do not think that Vermont's conference is trash. I think they have a great conference. I love Vermont. I love every conference in America. All right. Okay. Public service announcement is over. All right, so those are Jay Smooth's picks for tonight. 8 more games on tap. The first one, 6:50 Eastern on TNT. Chattanooga, that top game, plus the 8 over Illinois. We'll get to that game in a second. All right, AB, I'm looking at your board, and you've got at least one, maybe 2, that are opposite your boy. Talk to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, we're going Illinois -8. First off, look, here's the problem for Chattanooga. They're going to have to deal with Kofi Cockburn, one of the best players in the country. I'll say this. He's the only player in D1 this year that's averaging 20-plus points per game and 10-plus rebounds per game. The only one. He's the only one doing it. He's going to have his way with Chattanooga. But the problem is with this. Chattanooga, which is a lovely place, it's about an hour and a half away from Nashville. Awesome. It's fantastic. I feel so sorry for what's about to happen to you today. Kofi's going to have his way, not to mention Trent Frazier as well. He's one of the leading scorers of the Big Ten this year. Like, they are going to put points up. I like Illinois -8 in this one. And then LSU -4. Look, Iowa State is one of the coldest teams in the country coming into this tournament. I don't think that they're all that good. And yes, LSU's had problems with their head coach. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say this. LSU's head coach, it's not like he was Rick Pitino out here. His job was to get the players here. He wasn't coaching them that much on the court. And you know what? He got them here, right? So once they put the ball in the air and they tip it, LSU's going to have its way. I like this number at -4. So, yeah, Illinois 8, LSU 4. Let's roll.
Yeah, he got them there by any means necessary as well, which is why he's not there. By the way, I do need to point out, because you know me, I don't play favorites here on the early edge. You know, my entire crew is open to any and all showdowns, criticisms, teasing. We know that. Does anybody know who Jay Smooth lost a showdown to today? And it wasn't just a normal showdown. It was a showdown for lunch. But the parameters, AB, did you see this on social media?
Yeah.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
So our man Buckets, our soccer extravaganza, our soccer, genius. He challenges Jay Smooth on social media, and he gave you 6.5.
6.5, man.
The spread was 1.5. He gave you an extra 5. And he buried you. He buried you, Jay Smooth. What is that all about?
I don't know, man. I'm really disappointed in this Loyola team today. That was a big dud.
It's the Loyola's fault. It's Loyola's fault.
I wasn't out there missing the layups. I'll tell you that much. No, I'm joking. Obviously, look, Buckets had the right idea here. He's on this Ohio State team. I don't know if you saw, but when he said that he was taking them to take his bracket. That's who his national champion is in his bracket, by the way. He's taking Ohio State to win it all. And he was like, how did I do? And a lot of people were giving him a little bit of grief on Twitter for taking Ohio State, which is fair. They have not been all that this year. But look, I said to him, look, I'll tell you, I think I got plus 25,000 on them to win the national championship. So if they do it, I told them I'm going to buy a lot of OSU gear and wear it all on the show just for Buckets.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? I mean, at least Buckets is going to be able to shred his bracket and throw away his Panda Express all in the same time when Ohio State gets bounced in the next round. All right, some other best bets. Grab your paper, grab your pencil that our cappers are on. Chip, tonight, he's backing Jay Smooth, AB. He's on Chattanooga plus the 8. He's on Iowa State plus the 4. He's also on Davidson plus the 1. Right now, I saw it. It's picking him in a lot of places over Michigan State. So those are the 3 official plays from Chip Patterson. Then Micah, he's done for the day. He went 1 and 2, hit the under in Yale, Purdue. Yale got crushed, and Jackson State got beat as well. And then the Maestro, thinking about you, Maestro, he is on Davidson plus the 1.5 tonight as well. So those are all of our best bets from tonight. All right, real quick before we break down every single game, guys, let's look back at some of the action from earlier today. When we talk about it being chalk, and Jay Smith, I'm going to come to you first. When you talk about these blowouts, Purdue wins by 22. Texas Tech wins by 35. Auburn wins by 19. Ohio State wins by 13. Villanova wins big. And then you got the 2 upsets, Miami and Notre Dame by seeding anyway. And then Texas is up 13 with 3 minutes to go. Which was the biggest surprise for you today?
I don't think Notre Dame was a surprise. I had that matchup. I really just thought coming out of that battle with a good Rutgers team, like that was a good Rutgers team, man. Like they probably could have won this game too if they beat Notre Dame in that overtime game.
Yeah.
But I thought the other upset that we saw today was a little bit more surprising. And honestly, I thought that Jacksonville State played maybe better than I thought they were going to, but they just didn't get some rolls. They couldn't hit any of their threes. I still like taking the points there after watching what I saw. It's hard. Sometimes these teams, they literally come out and they shoot 3 for 20 from 3 because they're just not used to the size of these big, like Power 5 schools that they go up against the 16 seeds. So it's a little rough, but I still don't think Auburn was really looking all that great. So that performance was actually a little bit more surprising than maybe the number 19 suggests.
You know, surprising is a great word, AB, because last year, you remember the first weekend, what did we see? Craziness after craziness after craziness. And now this year, it's so hard. And it's why so many people, you look at social media, almost anybody that publicly does sports betting is getting crushed. Why? Because they're constantly going with the underdogs, because historically, underdogs in the tournament keep it close because it's just about winning and advancing. Why do you think, AB, that day 1 and now so far through day 2, that all of these big spreads are getting into the 20s and 30s as far as margin of victory?
Well, I think you guys got an excellent question. Like, first off, just betting March Madness in general, like, it goes to show you, like, that's how difficult that these games are. It's hard. Look at your brackets. It's hard enough just to pick winners in most of these games, right? So it's like, don't get all upset. If you miss a bet, you're going to. Trust me, everyone on the planet is going to. You just survive, keep going, right? But when you ask about, these teams, like, that's what I'm fascinated about, is that are we seeing in a year of college basketball where there was parity everywhere? Like, we saw upsets constantly throughout the season, and then we get to the tournament, and it's like, okay, are these chalk teams actually that much better? And they're all showing up right now, right? Like, we're seeing, like you said, teams like Auburn, teams like Kansas, flex their muscle and say, hey, man, we're much better than you. We are going to prove it. We're going to go out and do it. So, yeah, I'm fascinated with that, right? And then, you look at, like, today, you were talking about surprises, the biggest ones that we saw on the board. Ohio State. There was no team in the country that came in colder to the tournament than Ohio State. They were losing everything, right? And then they go in and just blast. Right? Like, both offensively and defensively, like they were playing. So, yeah, man, like, all we could do is just kind of wait, see what we see tonight, Saturday and Sunday. And remember, everybody out there, we are so early we're a day and a half into March Madness. Like, there's so much more that's coming. Just look Saturday and Sunday. if you look at these spreads now, and I'm sure that we'll get into it, you look at these teams that are big favorites of the tournament. I think UCLA is a 3-point favorite tomorrow, right? Like Tennessee's a 5.5-point favorite tomorrow. Like there are so many tight spreads that it is about to get cranked up to about 100 after tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait for it.
Sorry, Coach. I wanted to jump in on what AB said there really quick and just say, like, what happens in the second round, what I saw the last couple of years is that you get to see these teams perform in the first round. The first round's always nuts because you don't really know who's come to play, who's properly ready for their opponent, what they're really going to come out and do well. And now that you've seen them play a game, and now that we get to see, all right, well, they're going 2 days later against an opponent who we just also saw win, you get to get a better idea of what's going to be happening. I had a lot more success in the second round betting last year, I'll tell you that much.
Good. I'm glad you could validate that for us right here live on the show.
All
right. Starting in 2 minutes, let's get into the schedule for tonight. Starting in 2 minutes on TNT. In the South region, Chattanooga, the 13th seed, and we are heavily invested as a show in this game, taking on the 4 seed Illinois. Full disclosure, Brad Underwood, as you guys know from my same hometown, we've got a big celebration coming up in May, 50 years of excellence at McPherson High School. I'll be the MC. Brad Underwood will be the keynote speaker. So I'm kind of invested in Illinois tonight. All I care about is if they win, but I know we care about the spread. Jay Smooth, you're on Chattanooga plus the 8. The winner of this game will face Houston or UAB. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, first of all, I love that we have so many contrasting picks today, and that I'm with Chip up against AB on this one. So we're going to see who takes it home. AB got me a little bit yesterday, so I'm coming after him on this one. But yeah, I think that this Chattanooga
is this a showdown, by the way? Is this a showdown? I forgot to ask.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it because, look, I've got an entire dinner table full of food thanks to Jay Smooth and his 200 bones he sent me last night.
Yeah, I need some back.
You know what? I wasn't going to bring it up, but if you want it, if you want the smoke, you can come get it.
I think we want it. I mean, I know that it might take a little off your table, but we got to still pay for curtains and everything, man. So I'm
oh my God! Just say yes or no. Quit bringing up curtains.
Of course,
it's
I'm
embarrassing.
In, Coach. Of course, I'm.
Thank
in.
you.
Of course, I'm in.
Thank you. All right, back to the game.
They're gonna do it.
All right. Well, it's getting ready to tip off right now. So if you guys are in with Jay Smooth plus the 8, bang the plus the 8. If you're in with our other crew, now I got to go over to SportsLine real quick because we have so many SportsLine members. So Jay Smooth on Chattanooga, Chip is on Chattanooga, and Mad Max and the Thunderdome is also on Chattanooga. AB, does that scare you at all?
Hell no. I love it. I love that everybody is on Chattanooga. I'm telling you, look, I've been to Chattanooga a million times. I'll tell you who's at the game. Terrell Owens, who played at Chattanooga. He's there. Like, I love everything about Chattanooga. They are getting blasted tonight by Illinois. I'm just letting you know about it, man. So, yeah.
Wow. 8 points. 8 points. All right. Very interesting. All right. Game number 2. 7:10 Eastern Time, CBS. By the way, a lot of you have tweeted at me going, Coach, I don't have True TV. Coach, I don't have this. Here's the little secret that nobody is talking about. Download the March Madness app. So all you have to do is hit the button and it switches game to game to game to game. You don't have to have True TV on your television. Download the app. It's fantastic. And it's got every game right there. You can just switch back and forth. All right. So Duke is laying the 18.5. Here's where we are at as far as SportsLine is concerned. Mike is on Cal State Fullerton plus the 18.5. And I believe, let me read what he writes here because you're right up. Jay Smooth is right below his. Here's what Micah writes. Jay Smooth doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, sorry. He didn't actually write that.
I would love that. I would love that. Bring it, Micah.
Now, full disclosure, he did miss 2 earlier today with the same philosophy because he was on the morning show, but it's a philosophy that in years past, Jay Smooth has worked, that when you get 18 to 22, 25, they take their starters out with 3 or 4 minutes to play, and it happened to your Gonzaga team just last night. Now, he feels that this is how this game is going to go, but you think Duke's going to keep that gas pedal down. I tend to agree with you because of how they played in the ACC tournament. They need to feel good, stop a mud hole in you like Stone Cold Steve Austin did so many times to me. And I think I'm on your side tonight as much as I hate to admit it.
I think they outclass them, Coach. That's just really what it's going to come down to. This is a school that ranks, in the middle of the college basketball world. Both its conference is a middle tier conference, Big West coming in around like 18th, 19th in the country. That, it kind of drops off a cliff a little bit. So 18th, 19th isn't actually that great. But this is still a decently competitive conference with teams like UC Irvine, a lot of those California schools that play late. So there might not be a lot of exposure to them. But yeah, I disagree. I think with Micah, at least, I think this is going to be a little too small. I think Duke wants to come out, flex those muscles, 20-point win after not winning the ACC tournament. And VT's about to be sent home right before they tip off. You don't think they're watching? They are definitely watching. They want to be the team to beat. And North Carolina also came out and had a huge win. I think they're going to do it. They want to flex.
Do we remember the last time, AB, that this year that Duke was really went into a game, nobody gave him a chance, nobody said, because right now people are questioning, Duke, Coach K, he's going to go out with a whimper. Do we remember the last time this season that nobody wanted to talk about Duke?
I don't. What do you got?
I do.
North
when
Carolina?
they played Gonzaga.
Right.
Gonzaga. People said Gonzaga is going to be undefeated this year. Gonzaga is going to roll through everybody. Now, I know it's 3 months ago, but Duke beat them up. They were the best team on the floor that night. So Duke has the ability, is my point, if they can dig deep. And now you've got it where there is no tomorrow for Coach K. So these players understand, sitting in that locker room right now, there is no coming back here with a loss, and that's going to be okay because they want to send them out with a national championship. They may not do that, but in the first and second round, I think they're going to bring it strong. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team, right? And, the interesting part about them, like, if you look at tempo rankings across the country, Duke's about 150th ranked, meaning that they're not a fast team, right? But that generally works out well for talented teams, right? Like, they take their time. They don't take bad shots. They move the ball around. They get the extra pass. They're well coached, right? And that's the problem that, a Cal State Fullerton or I'm sorry, that whoever's going to run into in regards to Duke, like, that's the problem, is that they can outcoach you, outplay you, and they're just more talented than you, right? Like, that's what you're going to run into. However, you look at Cal State Fullerton, okay? One quick nugget, EJ Anasicki, they are undefeated this year, 10-0 when he scores 20 or more points, right?
Okay.
Now, we're talking about Duke. We're not talking about the guys that they're running against, right? But this cat can score, and you look at them, they are 17-5 in their last 22 games. Like, this is a good basketball team. But I think that, like you said, when you have a Duke team like that is just well coached, well ran, and they don't run and make mistakes, like, that's the biggest thing, right? Is if Duke's not making mistakes, good luck. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. So yeah, like, I agree with you guys. I don't have a play on it, but I don't hate it whatsoever. Like, it's Duke.
Okay. The total, by the way. Yeah, go ahead, Jay Smith.
Yeah. Something that really caught my eye looking at the way that these teams play is the Cal State Fullerton defense is going to have no answer for these Duke sharpshooters. They are one of the worst teams at chasing their opponents off of the three-point line. I think 330th in allowed three-point rate. So this is going to be just a night where Duke just lines it up and it's just raining from above. If they can hit a decent rate of those shots and not have the jitters because they're playing for such a heavy game in, like, Coach K's legacy, that could be like the only little, like, mental worry that gets in there. But these are guys who have professional aspirations. Paolo Banchero is going to go to the league. He is a special player. I think this Duke team is just going to hit their shots tonight, and it's just not going to be funny. So I'll lay it. And I think, well, you know what? Let's get some chalk on our side for once this time.
Hey, real quick to add in exactly what you're saying, and Coach, I'll stop interrupting you. You talk about that the Duke's offense. All right, they rank 9th points per game, 9th field goal percentage, 12th overall, 7th overall in offense. Like, this Duke team can score. They're not afraid to score, and they're not afraid at the end of the game to drill free throws on you all day long. So yeah, you're exactly right on that point.
Let's go.
Are you two done with your little show here? Are you guys done? I mean, I can go. There's a game star that I'm interested in. I'm playing. All right, let's move on to game number 3, 7:20 Eastern time tonight, guys. TBS, number 11 Iowa State. This is a Midwest region game taking on number 6 LSU. Spread is 4. Total is 128.5. I'm not touching totals anymore. I'm done with totals. I'm with Chip on that. However, not that I like to stir the pot on the show quite at all, but I'm looking at my sheet here, and I see J Smooth on one side. I see AB on the other side. Are we going to have more smoke, gentlemen?
I think we gotta. I mean, I need to even the series, man. I'm going for it. I'm in, AB. If you're in, I'm in.
Oh,
well, why wouldn't he be in? He's up 2-0.
Yeah,
he's up 2-0. Why wouldn't he be in?
Not for long.
By the way, how did you get that money since he's banned from Venmo? How did you actually get paid?
Cash App.
Cash App. Interesting.
Yep.
That's how he paid for his dating websites as well. It's interesting.
That's very true. That's how it goes. It's a good investment. You got to do what you got to do.
That's very true.
But
all right. So here is where we are invested as a brand at SportsLine. Jay Smooth, we know, is on Iowa State. AB's not on, doesn't have write-ups here, but we know he's on LSU. Uh-oh. The only good thing that's saving you, AB, I don't even think this saves you. Matty Severance is on LSU on the money line at -190.
There we go. A surprise.
Surprise. I'm surprised it wasn't -240. I really am.
Yeah.
I really am. And Chip is on Iowa State plus the 4. So we have another showdown. So officially 2 showdowns from this show: Chattanooga, Illinois, and then Iowa State for Jay Smooth and LSU for AB. AB, why don't we start with you on this one? Why are you so bullish on a team that's going to be playing without their head coach who was with them all season?
Because I don't think they liked their head coach. Like, to be completely honest with you, right? Like, I think that they've been waiting for this for 2 years, right? I honestly, like, completely, yeah. And you look at LSU, what I love about them is that they play defense hard. Mm-hmm. They lead the country in steals. All right, they're top 10. They're 5th in the country in defensive efficiency. I'll slow down when I say that one.
Good job, big boy. Good job.
Yeah, exactly, right? But
Aced
they're not afraid to D you up all over the court. And they can score too. Like, that's the problem, is that while you're having problems just moving the ball around, passing it, LSU is going to rip because those hands don't stop. Right. And they're going to get their hands on the ball. They're going to cause problems for you. And what generally happens with that is that they get fast breaks, they get a lead. But then what also starts happening is you start fouling them. Right. And LSU go into the line, like, you start stealing points. So that's why I like it at -4. And look, Iowa State again, you want to talk about teams coming in cold to the NCAA tournament. Their last 11 games, Iowa State, they've won 4 of them. Right.
I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised they made it in.
Yeah, like, I mean, they're not bad, but there's nothing hype that I'm getting excited about them. And with LSU, like, I could just look and see the talent because I've watched it all year in the SEC. These boys ain't playing, man. So I like it at a low number. I think it's going to be a great game. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, LSU at 4. Yeah, I'll take it.
I'm with you. Iowa State, I mean, the reason they're in is because they had a good first 2.5 months. And everybody was talking about them in the Big 12. But what happened in the Big 12? They weren't that good, and certainly not the last 3 weeks. Quick live update. Good news for Jay Smooth and everybody back in Chattanooga. An early 7-3 lead 3 minutes into the game for the Fighting Chattanoogens. That game is on TNN. The Mocs are all over it. Okay, so let me come to you, Jay Smooth, because I want you to defend yourself for taking a Big 12 team that SportsLine has projected to lose by 8 tonight.
Wow. That's a lot for the SportsLine model. I'm happy. I love defending myself. It's literally, I think, what I come here to do most days. But yeah, no, let's talk a little bit about why this team is going to be able to do it. You talk about LSU's defensive efficiency. You have to talk about Iowa State's. They are right there with them. They are 10th in defensive efficiency. They are one of the best teams at forcing turnovers, 6 turnovers, 6th in the country in turnover rate on defense. They are, and they're not even steals either. So they force a lot of like errant passes and things that maybe, you don't normally get. And that's going to affect this LSU team. And I'll tell you why. They are one of the youngest teams in the entire country. This is a lot of freshmen who have not been in this scenario before. And when you start factoring in all this defense, I like the score to be a little bit lower. If I was going to lean, I'm not doing it, right? We're not doing it. We're just not doing totals. But if I was going to lean, it'd be the under. And I think what that does is it gives a little bit more value to these points that you're getting. I like the possession plus. I think 4, 3.5 are both great lines here. I like this Big 12. They've already shown up that hot start. Even those battles that they lost so many games in the end of the regular season were against such good teams on the road. You're facing top 50 teams in their own buildings. You're probably going to lose most of your games. So I think we need to give Iowa State a little bit of a pass from maybe some of their bad results and remember who they play against every single time they go out. The Big 12 is loaded. So I'm going to stick with it. I like this Big 12 team. I think the +4 is too much. I have them actually winning in my bracket.
So I actually came prepared because I knew this was going to be your argument. I knew you were going to say the Big 12 is off to a hot start and they're going to continue. Let me read to you the results of the Big 12 thus far in the tournament.
Yeah.
Texas Tech beat a 14 seed. Baylor beat a 16 seed. Texas beat an 11 seed. Kansas beat a 16 seed.
That 11
oh, that's it. Nothing smaller than an 11 has the Big 12 beaten so far in the NCAA. Nothing.
You're right.
Not a single-digit win at all. And now you're going to tell me they're off to a red-hot start? Red-hot start?
All 4 have covered. They've all covered, though. Have they not, Coach? Have they not all covered, beat the number that Vegas gave them? That's what we're here to do. I think that continues. I think Vegas has it wrong.
I understand that. It's not rare for a team to cover 116. But, hey, I'm just here to play devil's advocate. I'm just a host.
Hey,
what do I know?
Well,
I'm just
you got to give Iowa State a lot of credit because last year they went 0-18 in conference play, and then this year they fired back at 7-11 in conference play, and they rank 150th in offense in the country. So,
all right. Well, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and that game tips off about 16 minutes from right now. That game is on TBS, or as I mentioned, just get the app. All right, game number 4 tonight. Speaking of 16 seeds playing 1 seeds, I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game, but we are not invested as a show, as a brand, as SportsLine, nothing. Not one person wanted a part of this game. 21.5 is the spread, Arizona. The total, a robust, and for a first-round game, this is robust, 156.5. Wright State lit it up in their play-in game. They can score. And we know Arizona, they'll let teams score, but they love to get – they'll probably get 90 tonight. So that means Wright State would have to get, 70? 67, something like that for the over to come in. That's pretty high. That's pretty high for both sides in the first round. So let's leave the total alone. Jason Booth, let me come to you. Is there any part of this game, a team total, something that we can play? Because I just don't like the number. I think Wright State is too good to lay 21, but I also think Arizona is too good to take Wright State. So what do you think?
Man, I mean, I'm in the same place as you. This is one of those games where if Mike was here, he'd be like, thank goodness the models don't have an edge and we don't have to do anything on it. This is a hard one to stomach on either side, right? Because we know the offensive and defensive prowess that Arizona has. We know some sharp people, including our own Larry Hartstein, has them as their champion. So they could come out and really put on a display, a clinic, if you will, on this team. But on the other side, if you take how well Wright State has been playing, you would expect this game to be maybe a little bit closer to 14, 15, 16 points, which is where I think it really could happen. So I see a little bit too much of like an even split on the probabilities. I can't really get much of an edge. I do tend to think that based on what we've seen in the tournament, if you like doing that, we're probably going to watch Wright State burn out towards the end of either the first half or in the middle of the second half. We've seen some big runs by these highly seeded teams at the end of the first half. Yeah. Both high-seeded teams had a 10-0 run. Auburn and I think also Villanova both had 10-0 runs in the last 3 or 4 minutes of their first halves. I think that's very, very possible. It's like when they're sort of trying to get into the locker room, the mentality maybe slips and they strike. So, yeah, I actually do think if you're going to play it, it might be laying it, but I'm not. 10-foot pole, no thank you. No thanks.
I am offended, Jay Smooth. AB, did you just hear what Jay Smooth said? He said there's a lot of sharp minds out there that are on Arizona. In fact, the Maestro has them picked as his national champion. I show you Exhibit A for Arizona. But no, can I get a shout out?
No.
Can I be called a sharp mind? I've been on this brand since day one. I started this brand I have Arizona. But my main
Yeah,
man can't give me any credit. Yeah, I'm the only one on the front page of our bracket. The only one.
That's true.
Is that true?
Yeah.
True?
100%.
Definitely not mine.
That hurts. AB, I'm gonna get it together in the next couple seconds. But for you, I need to understand if you have anything. We can just move on. I don't need to spend a lot of time on this game.
Well,
Nobody's invested. Do you have anything here?
I'll give you some nuggets here real quick. Like I don't.
Nice.
It's so many points. Like in Arizona, like they could treat this as a scrimmage, right? Like I mean, it's too many points.
Yeah.
But I'll give you some nuggets here real quick on Arizona. I mean, this is an NBA team. They're the tallest team in the tournament. I'll give you that. They average 42.6 points in the paint, and they can shoot from outside. Like, what are you going to do? And they're the 8th fastest team in the country as well. Like, they're a problem, just an absolute problem, because everything, like, you focus on one thing that you want to do with them, they could do 3 others, right? Like, they're a problem. So yeah, no bet from me, but they're good.
You see, AB, while you were giving your little take there, Jay Smooth was pulling his best maestro impersonation. He's over here like we couldn't see. Like we couldn't see him do that. Chattanooga's up 10. 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
5 minutes into the game.
Yeah,
Auburn
was
time
losing.
code that.
Yeah, Auburn was losing by 10 earlier too. I saw that.
It's true. That's awful true. But we'll take it. Every point matters. Every point matters.
AB, timestamp this right here so we can pull it out of the show when we need to. All right, let's move on to the 4 late games tonight. Later tonight, 9:40, 9:20, 9:40, 9:50, and 9:57. At 9:20, gentlemen, I think this is going to be a fun game. I really, really do. This is going to be the Western region. The winner of this game faces Illinois or Chattanooga. It's going to be the 12-seed UAB taking on the 5-seed Houston. And the spread is 8.5. The total is 136. AB, I want to come to you because Iowa is already gone. And in the other one, UConn is already gone. St. Mary's still alive, and then you got Houston. You gave us a little nugget the other day that I have kept remembering that has a string of 8 years in a row. Can you educate the people on what that stat is, please?
Yes, yeah. For 8 years in a row in the NCAA tournament, a 5-seed or fewer has made the Elite 8, right? And the Final Four. Like, these teams are good. Like, they catch fire, man. So be careful with them, Be careful.
All right, so here's where we're at as far as being exposed at SportsLine. Mike is on Houston, laying the 8.5. Timmy Doyle. Oh, Doyle. He's on UAB plus the 8.5. Jay Smooth is on UAB plus the 8.5 as well. Why do you think UAB can stay within 8.5 of a Houston team that Jay Smooth, if they get going, big if, but if they get going, they're dangerous because they have a really good defense as well.
Yeah, I think people are going to get a little caught up on that. Houston definitely can do it if they come correct. But I think that's a big if. They might be in a little bit of a hangover spot coming off of a conference tournament win. This is going to be a tougher game against these UAB Blazers. I called them the Dragons this morning. That was fun. But against the Blazers, who actually have some decent firepower. They are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the nation. They are going to light it up from deep or at least try. And what this one kind of smells like to me is one of those games where if Houston gets a slow start and UAB knocks down like 4 quick threes in like the first 5 minutes, they might find themselves in a similar position to Illinois right now. And look, that happens. It happens. These teams come out fast with a lot of energy early. And, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm going to pull, a little M squared. I'm going to say it gives you a really nice chance to get a great number. It gives you get Illinois almost even right now to win to like -1.5, -2 right now. And they should probably come back and get this done against Chattanooga. They just should. Like, that's the most likely outcome is that they pull back within a couple and they take the lead. And I think that's what you have a chance for also with this Houston UAB game. UAB might come out early and then fade late. So we'll see. But I think they covered the 8.5 though.
Yeah, I should have listened to M squared last night, and this is why I'm never betting a total again in the NCAA tournament. I was on the under in the UConn game, 54 points at halftime, and they scored over 80 in the second half. And he said, hey, it was down to like 118. He goes, bang the over, and then you have 11 points, and it protects if for some reason they go nuts in the second half. I didn't do that, and I lost, and I should have listened. All right, AB. Is this one of your showdowns? Is this a showdown for you? I'm trying to remember.
It's not. But I'm going to tell you this, okay? Talking about UAB. All right. So if you are a starting guard in college basketball, okay, and throughout a season, if you end that season with 45 3-pointers made, that's a hell of a season, right? Done a good job. UAB's guard, our man, Jordan Jelly Walker, he's made 115 threes this year, okay? 115 threes, all right? If they are going to win or cover, it is going to be because this man has 27 threes. This team is going to look like the Warriors in terms of just firing threes constantly. He's going to look like Steph Curry. He will put up from anywhere. If you want this man to shoot from the logo, he'll do it 10 times. He does not care. He'll fire it, right? It's going to be a fun game, man. Like, Houston's a good team. Houston's going to definitely have some advantage in the paint. They're going to be bigger. They're going to be stronger. But this man has, I'm telling you, nuclear missiles that come out of nowhere. He could fire, man. So it's going to be a fun game. Like, no play from me, but I can't wait to watch this one because these teams want to run and gun, too. Like, this is going to look and feel like an NBA game. It's going to be exciting.
I love it. This game is on TNT. Go ahead, Jay Smooth. What do you got?
Jelly Walker takes a third of his team's shots, like literally 33.2% of his shots. He has the 16th highest shot percent rate in all of the country, meaning only 15 players in all of D1 take more shots for their team than this kid. He also shoots 41% from three. He's 113 made for 275 attempts. So yeah, he launches it. Is a little bit of an understatement. It's going to be great, but he's also a good passer. He's a top 75 player in assist rate. So what makes him so dangerous is that you have to guard him close, but that opens up lanes, right? You get cuts to the basket, and everybody has to respect his shooting ability. I think it just he opens up the floor. A key player like that can really change a basketball game because you just have to respect him, and it can really change that spacing. So I think it just it is a game where UAB can sneak up, especially late, even if they're down. If they have to chuck shots, they're a team who could make them and backdoor this too. So yeah, I like it.
I can't even imagine a bunch of college kids allowing a player on your team to take one out of every 3 shots, and yet that player is still popular on your team. The closest thing when I played ball in college, we played the leading scorer in Division III. He's averaging 38 points a game. I was like, do you know how many shots you have to take to average 38 points a game in college? And we were solid. We held him to 47. It was a great defensive effort by me and my squad. We still won the game. We scored 47, but that's what it is. I may or may not have been National Player of the Week that week. Triple-double. It's okay.
There we go.
All right, move on. Game number 6 tonight. 9:40 Eastern time. It's on the network, CBS, Synergy. Davidson, the 10 seed. Michigan State, the 7 seed. The total 140.5. We don't care about that. The winner will face the winner of Duke and Cal State Fullerton. Let me start with you, AB. This is, at most books, an absolute pick'em. And for somebody who hasn't been watching college basketball all year, they'll be like, what? Michigan State, perennial power. They play in the Champions Classic, for God's sake. Davidson, Steph Curry's alma mater. They literally blew it in the final day of their conference tournament and still got an at-large bid. So that tells you how good this team is. But are they good enough to forget about what's on the front of the jersey and just play basketball?
Davidson's a fun team. Like in the chat, Demon Slayer says, I like watching Davidson. Fun team. 100% agreed. They are good. They can shoot. They can play. They're really good offensively. You look at Michigan State, they're pretty good defensively. They're not a great team. They're not the Tom Izzo teams that we're used to. But it's still Michigan State, and it's still well coached. And when you get in these tight games, which we all think and assume that this one is going to be very similar to San Francisco and Murray State last night, like these are two teams that are very, very, close and almost identical. So that when it gets tight, man, Tom Izzo's been in this before, right? So, yeah, like no strong play from me. I couldn't hate either side, anybody taking it. It might not be the most exciting because Michigan State will slow this thing down a bit. But if Davidson gets going and gets running, watch out, man, because I don't know if Michigan State can come back from that.
I had the honor of doing SportsCenter for almost a decade, in my 30s. And I got to work every single selection Sunday. And there was all these conspiracy theorists every single year. This matchup was made for this reason. This matchup was made for this reason. And Jay Smooth, you cannot tell me that the committee did not look at this bottom of the bracket and say, if we're going to have somebody knock Duke out, it's going to be Tom Izzo. If we're going to have somebody knock Duke out, it's going to be Tom Izzo. The winner of this game, in all likelihood, plays Duke in what will be a titanic matchup as far as schools are concerned on Sunday. But can Michigan State, in your mind, get past Davidson?
It is going to be a tall task, honestly. I think this is a good pass for me. I know Mike has it. I'll probably tail it just because of that. We literally said the famous words. I should have listened to Mike. It's like the defining 3 words of my career, probably. But nonetheless, you just should. His model has it. It's normally going to be right. But anyway, I think this is going to be really interesting because Davidson has the shooting to keep themselves in this game. I'll read a couple stats for you. They are a top 11 offense in efficiency. Their 3-point shooting is going to be like top 5 in the country. So they really can just make it rain. They can hit these shots and they can effectively space the ball out. And then in terms of the way they rebound, they definitely drop guys back and make sure to crash the defensive boards more than they do the offensive boards. So they try to limit you when you miss shots. They're actually really good at it. Their offensive rebound allowance rate is 7th best in the country. So they really are going to let this Michigan State team get a lot of rebounds. So Michigan State's going to have to hit the shots they get. Now, I think they're going to do that. I really do. But this A-10s look tricky. Richmond knocked off Iowa. This is going to be maybe one of the games of the night. I don't have a play on it. I just know I'm going to sit back and watch a great game. But it should be a treat.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. By the way, live update as we speak. I tell you what, right now, Jay Smooth is looking pretty good. That Chattanooga squad is laying it on the Illini. And as I say that, Kofi got fouled from behind and still almost took the player into the basket with him and missed the bucket. The player's going to be okay, but you may not want to foul Kofi up around his shoulders because he's going to take you wherever he is going to go. This dude is going to be something else in the pros. I cannot wait to see what his game can turn into. All right, 2 more games to talk about, then we're going to get out of here, and we're going to watch the games and enjoy them with everybody else. All right, 9:50 Eastern time tonight, TBS, a Midwest region game, Colgate. Don't sleep on Colgate at SportsLine. Zach Attack, Mad Max, and my man Jay Smooth all on Colgate. At the time they put it in, plus 7.5. It's still there. And Wisconsin is a 3 seed. The winner of this game, Jay Smooth, takes on Iowa State and LSU. Why are you, Zach, and Mad Max so bullish on Colgate?
Oh, man, this is a tough one for me. I got to really swallow my pride. So I went to Hamilton College, and Hamilton College is the bitter rival of Colgate. We are 20 minutes
I've heard
away.
that. Nasty.
Yeah, terrible rivalry. Terrible. No, we're just really located 20 minutes away from each other, and Colgate's in the town called Hamilton. So it's this whole big deal. They're the only schools within 10 miles of each other in the Utica area. But nonetheless, this is going to be a interesting battle because Colgate has the shooting, just like a lot of these other teams coming out of these mid-majors, to really get it done. Colgate has, shown that they can get to this tournament in back-to-back years, make runs. They've had some interesting wins in the past. They were a big upset favorite last year. It did not happen. I think it might this year, and it's because Wisconsin lets teams hang around. Johnny Davis, one of those high usage players left in the conference, I think 4th highest usage left in the conference right now. They're going to live and die with him. And if he isn't right, if those injuries, if that little being banged up after a long season of all those shots really catch up to him tonight, Colgate has what it takes to make Wisconsin pay. And I'll take the points because I definitely think it might be closer than people expect with this game.
Yeah, Wisconsin, first time all season, they lost back-to-back games, and it was the last 2 games that they have played. But, AB, let me read to you the first line of Jay Smooth's article on SportsLine. Colgate is a legit basketball program that plays out of a trash Patriot conference. He does it again! He does it again!
Just call
you say weak. I say
they are not good. They are literally one of the bottom 5 conferences in college basketball. That is not a stretch. The next big best team in the Patriot is awful. I don't know if I could even name them off the top of my head. That's how bad it is.
I cannot wait until we get invited to a game. Hey, bring the whole early edge crew. We're going to give you except that guy Jay Smooth. He called our conference trash twice.
Yeah, hey. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you some nuggets here that doesn't matter what conference it is, right? So we talked about our man Jelly Walker and his 115 threes. Colgate this year, just a little better. They've hit 337 three-pointers this season. That is not a lie. This team, you want to talk about firing threes, they do not care. Also, all right, Colgate, they have 5 players averaging double figures in scoring this year. This team can score. Now, here's the problem. That Midwest bracket, where is that, Jay Smooth?
Was it being played in Milwaukee? It's literally in Wisconsin.
This is a home game for Wisconsin.
This is a home game for Wisconsin. I'm well aware.
This is a home game, and there's going to be white and red everywhere, right? But Jay Smooth brought it up. Wisconsin, even when they're playing at their peak, they find a way to come back and bring games down. Like, they don't blow anybody out. So I'm fascinated to see it, right? Like, he's not wrong in regards to, the conference of where they're at. But look, this Colgate team, they got dudes who could shoot, and they got dudes who could feel it, and they understand that, you know what? This might be the only time in their life that they're ever here. Fire it, right? Like, they're going to fire every shot they've got. So there you go.
Well, we saw last night with New Mexico State with their star who was hitting everywhere and screwed our under because he decided with the ball up 38 seconds to go, let me just drive down and go ahead and take a shot and have a 3-point play. And why don't you pull it out? Play it down. But that's the kind of player that says, you know what? I'm only here maybe once, and I'm going to take it all the way to the rack and see what happens. And that can happen. Quick update. Duke already up 11 in the first half over Cal State Fullerton. Make that 13 now, 17-4. 7 minutes into the game, Chattanooga up 20-7. Illinois 0 field goals in the last 4 minutes and 22 seconds. As I say that, goes in, comes out. But Coburn will go to, I always say his name wrong when I look at it on the back of his jersey.
Kofi Coburn, yeah.
Look,
here's the problem.
It's not that. It's not that.
Here's the problem. Illinois is legit shooting 12% in the game right now.
No. They're going to
not going to last. And Chattanooga is playing just hack everybody, right? Like, they're going to run out of guys and fouls to have. So I understand this 27, like, that's not where you want to be. But once Illinois ties this game up, buddy, that train's going to go. You know what I mean? So it's not fun. You're going to sweat it in the first half. But, once it evens out,
it's going to be
you probably want the live middle right now if you have Chattanooga +8 with me, or like getting an Illinois like -1 or a nice line on the money line. This is just one of those games where they can put on a 10-point run. This is one of those teams that can do that. Chattanooga is probably coming out hot. Illinois has got the jitters. It could easily flip. Yeah, Mike's in here in the chat saying +2.5 on Illinois right now. I mean, look, I have that +8, so I can get a plus money situation in both sides. I love it, but this is going to be a good game. I think Illinois claws their way back.
Wait a second. What are you talking about? You literally spent the entire show telling the world why Chattanooga is going to shock the world.
It's not.
And now you're on the other side.
It's not going to last. It's totally going to be an overcompensation by like Chattanooga. They're going to fade out late. It happens all the time. We've seen it so many times. Because you can
But I thought you're on Chattanooga. You're on Chattanooga.
I am, but I can get a plus number on both sides and maybe middle this bad boy, Coach. This is these live bets we live for.
If Illinois comes back, then +2.5 if they win the game, unless I'm not a math major, that doesn't work, does it?
Yeah, it does, because I'd have +8 on Chat and +2.5 on Illinois. So I'd win both.
All right. Okay.
We'll see. I mean, again, I think they have this potential to just really start racking these points up. They're doing it already. It's 10 going to the line. That number is gonna be smaller and smaller. That 2.5.
My point is this: is that now when you have a live bet perspective, all of a sudden Chattanooga sucks.
No, they don't suck. It's just
if they get +2.5, if they win by more than if they win the game, they're going to win by more than 8. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to middle it. Is my point. You're not going to middle it.
We'll see.
It's like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
I do quite often.
You're like, I do that all the time anyway. All right, let's move on to the last game of the night. This is so much fun. 9:57 Eastern. I don't have the network. Doesn't matter. Get the app. TCU. A lot of people. I can't stand anybody tweeting me anymore. Girls, I can't find the game. TCU is the 9 seed. Seton Hall is the 8 seed. It's basically a pick 'em, -1 Seton Hall. The total sitting at 129. The winner will be bounced in the second round. They play Arizona or Wright State. Here's where we stand as a brand and at SportsLine. Matty Severance is on Seton Hall on the money line. He says is -320. Jay Smooth, I'm kidding. He's on Seton Hall. -1.5. Jay Smooth is on TCU. Timmy Doyle is on TCU. And the Maestro is also on TCU. So, Jay Smooth, how do you feel that Matty Severance, the lady killer, he is opposite you tonight?
I'm gonna abstain from direct comment and just be excited that I got Maestro and Timmy D on my side here. I am hyped. I am a horn frog tonight. We are getting this win. I've been saying it for like most of the second half here. I think Seton Hall is a fraudulent team. I think they are.
I do too.
Good. I do think that this Big East is obviously having a little bit of trouble outside of Villanova, who obviously, like, you know, they do their own thing. Villanova's kind of separate. They are just a powerhouse. But we saw UConn get bounced. We saw Marquette get embarrassed. I feel like the Big East is cruising for a bruise in here. They're going against a Big 12 team. I told you I'm all Big 12. We are not backing down. That +1 looks great. I like the money line too if you want that, like, I don't know, like -105. But take the +1 in case it somehow happens to finish there. I don't know.
AB, TCU recently went to Allen Fieldhouse and almost beat KU, the #1 seed in the Midwest region.
Yes,
TCU is a really good basketball team that nobody knows about. Talk to me.
They're well coached. They got 7 quad 1 wins this season. You look at both of these teams, I'm telling you, they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same, right? TCU's offense ranks 80th in the country, all right? Seton Hall's offense, 75th in the country. TCU's defense ranks 24th in the country. Very well coached and good defense. Seton Hall, 26th in defense. Both tempos offensively are slow as hell. So if in life, if you enjoy fun, this isn't your game. You're not going to have a lot of fun with it. But if you are somebody who likes hard-nosed defense, hard-nosed old-school basketball, this is your game. I don't have a play on it whatsoever, but these, TCU, like you said, man, Dixon, an excellent basketball coach. This is not going to be the most exciting one on the board, but it's going to be a damn good basketball game. I'll say that.
Well, luckily it's a late game, and I've had to get up so early due to the Valspar Championship this week. I have not been able to stay up past 10:30 anyway, so that's good for me because I'm going to fall asleep because we got a big third round tomorrow, and it's going to be a scoring extravaganza in Tampa. All right, that's going to do it. All 8 games are now spoken for. Once again, live update. Illinois has cut it to 10. Duke is up 7 only now, halfway through the first. Arizona up early, 2-0 in their game with Wright State. Enjoy the games tonight. Don't forget, we'll be back live tomorrow morning, normal showtime at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and, of course, Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Follow us at SportsLine. Any show updates, if we decide to add a show or something like that, we will let you know that as well, but there'll be games all throughout the day tomorrow. So you want to make sure, turn on those notifications. And don't forget that we have one thing left to do. And you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. We've had such an incredible week. But as AB said, we're just getting started. Come join us. We have the most brackets filled out, over 2,000. We got prizes coming your way in a couple of weeks. Tell all your friends there's only one sports betting brand you even need to worry about. Powered by SportsLine. I'm the coach, and we call it the Early Edge. Good luck.